it over here. All right. I get the microphones coming in too.
Oh, nice.
I need microphones so that it can hear me over the wind and all that. Aloha. Good evening. Welcome. Tonight, more stories. Hey, Suzette. How's it? How's it? I'll show you guys how this works real fast. If it wants to stop. Come on.
Did you start your YouTube one? I can't find it. It's not coming up. Oh, am I considered a kid?
There you go. Either way. It works like this, right? You do this. So yeah, that's how it works. Hey! H. Alright. Brock, come on. Okay, good, you off. So I got something cool. Oh, no. I know. I'll be like, hey, I hear my REM pod over there too now.
Yeah, turn the volume down.
So yeah, tonight I'm gonna share some stories about 2014 trip. Hey everybody, hey Sandy, Joy, Jerry Lee, Weelani, how's it? Scott, Just, Brenda, Neil, Suzette, H, Cricket, how's it? Aloha. Jubu, how's it? How's it? Raymond, aloha. Matt Brighter, how's it? Dang it. I don't know. I'll figure this out later. Whatever. So tonight I will share a story about health last night. Last night. That was something else, bro. All of a sudden it went shoot up from like 10 to like 167. I'm like, Sandra, how's it? So yeah, so tonight we're gonna tell stories about a trip I took in 2014. To the mainland going ghost hunting, and it was fun. You get this Hawaiian guy who kind of realized how different ghost hunting and that kind of stuff is from here to the mainland. Yeah, it's kind of the same, but it's also kind of different. Yeah. 808, how's it? Rosina, how's it? Okay. So also sorry, last night I tried to read the comments, but on YouTube I had like 200 something people and I could not keep up with the comments. So I will try to keep up with the comments, I promise. And I'm trying to figure out how to get the comments back so I can read them when I pow. Oh, thanks Joy, right on. Hit like, subscribe, yeah, that kind of stuff. Tunui, how's it? So yeah, 2014, my cousin Kaipo, who may or may not jump on because he always likes when I do these stories, because he's like, oh, I was the reason, yeah, that you have these stories. He got married in Maine to his wife Allie, and so I decided, hey, we're going to Maine. I'm gonna go up 1 week earlier. I go meet up with Doug. I go meet up with Eric, and we're gonna go ghost hunting, right? I've always wanted to go to these famous places that you see on TV and all of that. Gainer, how's it? So I had planned for about a month before all these places to go to. I was gonna land in Chicago. Doug, who's from Chicago, Illinois, was gonna pick me up, and then we go drive to see Eric in Ohio, and stay the night over there. Pick him up, and then we just went cruising. We went around to Prospect Place. We spent the night. You know, I realized something. If you spend the night in a haunted place, it's a lot cheaper than one hotel room. On a weekday, it was like $30 per person a night, kind of thing. So we got to stay in this haunted house that was on TV, the Prospect Place, overnight. Of course, nobody sleep. Yeah. Then we go investigating, and then we went up to. I'll share some of these stories after. Then we went up to Rolling Hills Asylum. We went there for 2 nights in a row. We came back down. We went straight down to Bobby Mackey's in Kentucky, and then we went over to the. What the hell is it? What's that place called? The Saddamsville Rectory. And then we drove back up to Chicago, Wisconsin, did some ghost hunting in a haunted forest, and then that was the whole week. Yeah. Hey Phoebe, Keith, how's it? Hey everybody, aloha. So yeah, we started. It was really cool because I've never been there and I was the one driving. Yeah, and I was telling Eric, I'm like, bro, how you know when we see this place? Because it was like a 4-hour drive from his house. So we was driving, driving, driving. GPS taking us all over everywhere. And hey Donovan, how's it? And so he's like, dude, you're gonna know when you see it. And so I took a cut off, and here's this big open field with deer in them, and this fog rolling through, and these deer just jumping in and out of the fog. I'm like, oh, bro, we close. He's like, yeah, look up there. And I looked, and here's this big mansion on top of a hill, right? Nope, Alucard, I just started. Here's this big house, this big mansion on top of one hill. And I was just tripping out. I'm like, oh, that's got to be the place. Let's see if I can find a picture for you. Prospect Place. So we check in the caretaker. This was built in the I want to say the 1840s, but yeah. Karina, what's up? Hey Faye, how's it? And so we the guy that owned the house now, his family owned it before and used to live there. It went through a whole bunch of hands. There we go. Prospect Place, Ohio. And he ended up with it again. It was a place that played a part. Here you go. Played a part in the Underground Railroad, you know, the history of Hawaii and that kind of stuff as well. Here. This is the picture of the house. Off to the side, they had a barn. So, when the slaves were freed, a lot of them would make their way up north, right? And so this is one of the safe havens that they found, right? And so as such, sometimes they would have to all hide in the basement because there would be bounty hunters that came by looking for slaves and that kind of stuff to bring them back down to the south and work in the fields. But they would hide in the basement. In fact, in the basement, it still had all these little rooms and it had this little cistern, right? This little water cistern that came out of the river. And the water came up, so it was good drinking water. There's a lot of stories. It's not really terrifying, scary. We had a lot of experiences there. There was one part of it, but unfortunately it was off limits. That part was a lot more demonic, a lot more scary. It felt really, 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 really negative. Like, it was right above where the guy lived, right above the kitchen and all that. But it was cool seeing how they do things there, because we don't have that here. If you have a haunted house down here, it's like, nobody, you know, say, never mind, get ghosts. No can go ghost hunting over here, you know. But you go to the mainland and they're like, oh, yeah, give us money. Come. And they have everything set up. They have a little base camp set up for you. They get the number for the pizza delivery guys. They get the big table. They get computers. On the top, they have, like, trigger objects. Like, they have a ball, little, like, duct tape around the floor making a square. You're supposed to tell the ghost to put the ball in the square. You know, that kind of stuff. Haunted dolls, that kind of thing. And so we explored it. It was awesome. We did a lot of that. We explored, like, just did an initial run through, and it was awesome. I mean, there were, like, I did so many videos, and I spent about an hour looking for them all today, and I couldn't find any from the Prospect Place. But there were videos I made where there was a little girl in the room. I could just feel it, yeah. And it was even in the daytime, and it was kind of hot, so we opened up all the windows, yeah. The attic was supposed to be used for witchcraft and demonic stuff. They had the little pentagram over there, and some of the cool things that happened over there. We had a really cool spirit box session in the basement. We were talking, I think, I just remember this too. I believe we were talking to one of the spirits over there. I think it was a story of the girl who, she was a servant, a white girl, who fell over the top floor, the railing, and fell to her death on the floor during the winter. And so they couldn't bury her in the winter because the ground was ice. It was rock hard. That's that. No, I don't know. It smells like the tip of it off. And so they had to put her in the cistern in the basement until the ground thawed out. I had snapped a picture of the cistern, and if I can find it, I'll post it to both Facebook and YouTube. It was just of rocks and stuff. It looked like the cistern, but then when you looked at it, a little bit when you really looked at it, you noticed that the rocks were discolored, and it made the pattern of a girl in a gray sweater, half buried by the cistern. Her head is off to the side, this white head, and long black hair all over. I had posted it to the group back then, and they took a lot of the pictures down, I guess, from 10 years ago. And so, yeah, we did a spirit box on the second floor, me and Doug. We used the actual Frank box. Doug had several of these Frank boxes, and we used one of them. Doug crosses people over. We did a whole night on his stories. It was really nice. I got to listen to some of the videos. I'll share later tonight, and hear Doug's voice again. He passed a while ago, right? But like, he crosses spirits over with the spirit box. So he turns on the spirit box, and you heard all these people talking on that radio thing, right? You could hear all these people talking and talking and talking, and this conversation coming through. It wasn't the regular like the static of the spirit box. It was people talking. They were like talking about what's going on, and then you would hear a little thank you every now and then as they crossed over. They would cross over through him, right? They'd go into his body. That's a car behind me. No worry. They go into his body. They see that he's not lying. They recall the memories of heaven that he has, because he died and came back. Long story. Go watch the Doug Live. It's I really recommend it. It's awesome. But and then they'll cross over. However, there was this one guy. We turned on the spirit box, right? And there was this one guy yelling at us, right, on the spirit box. Liar! It was like, oh, in between these little words, and you would hear people speaking, and Doug's like, okay, well, you need to come cross over. If you don't believe me, come into me and see with my own eyes, and blah, blah, blah. You're the devil, and other choice things that I can't really say, but they were full of cussing and all of this stuff. And after a few minutes of this, I'm just sitting down listening, and I'm like, I hear children on the spirit box. I hear this guy cussing up a storm on the spirit box. He thought that Doug was the devil. He was afraid of crossing over, going through that portal. He was afraid because he thought that was hell, and Doug was the devil tricking him, right? Oh, go through that portal. Go ahead. It's heaven. It's heaven. You'll be fine, right? And he was so afraid of hell that he thought Doug was the devil, and I was the devil, and we were trying to trick him. After a few minutes, I spoke up, and I'm like, hey, quiet your mouth. There are children. If you have a problem, wait till the end and you can talk to us. But stop swearing. You're in the presence of kids. The voice shut up. We didn't hear the voice for half an hour more. And then at the end, as we were winding up the spirit box, all we heard was people saying thank you and all of this stuff. It was awesome. But then after that, he came back, his same voice, and he's like, hey, I'm sorry. That same voice, I'm sorry. And then he crossed over too. He realized watching everybody crossing over that it was authentic, and it was real. And he crossed over to the other side. As we're driving later in this trip, and we did long drives. Put it this way, after Bobby Mackey's, it really messed me up. I started hearing things that nobody else could hear. I heard a voice come across the speaker, but the radio wasn't even on. We just cruising through the cornfields. All of a sudden, I hear that same voice say, thank you. Really loud. I'm like, oh, brah, Doug, you heard that? And Doug's like, no, what did you hear? I'm like, I just heard a guy say thank you. And Doug's like, huh. He takes out his little pendulum thing. He's talking to his wife, who's on the other side. And he's like, Joe, it was that guy from Prospect Place. I'm like, bro, that was the same voice. He's like, yeah. He just came by to say thank you in the cornfields as he moved on and crossed over. Let me get this question real fast. I know Karina asked a question. I always believe that only people with a gift can see or hear spirits. Not everyone can see night marchers. Yes or no? I would say no. I think everybody has the gift. It's like a muscle that sometimes some people use the muscle more than others, right? That's what I like about being in the pitch black, because you can feel things. You can see past your sight, kind of thing, right? You don't rely on your eyes so much. You rely on your other senses. And I love that because it makes my sense grow. It makes my senses grow and all of that stuff too. Like, I can feel stuff now. I could feel things walking around sometimes. I can feel them like, wow, it was, I don't know if, yeah, you was here with Minsu, right?
Yep.
And they was laughing in the trees,
Yeah.
swinging in the trees.
With
Just,
the horse
yeah.
galloping.
Yeah, it was awesome, man. They were like just loving the stories, you know. Otherwise, I would have come here when I was younger and be like, oh, bro, what is that? You know. Oh, that's the Obaki, bro. We gotta run. Yeah, your senses are much higher at night. Exactly. And hello, everybody that joined. How's it? So, at the Prospect Place, Doug was driving the next day to New York, and that was about a good 14-hour drive to the Rolling Hills Asylum. And so he crashed early. He went to bed early, and soon after, Eric was tired, so Eric followed. And I stayed up. And I enjoyed walking around, just enjoying the place by myself, because you can feel more when you're by yourself. And yeah, it was awesome. And then I'm like, all right, you know, I mean, I was taking pictures, and I took a picture, and I got this big, iridescent almost orb. And that orb I've seen many times. That's Doug's wife, Stacy. She appears as an orb around him all the time, and it's that almost iridescent orb, like pearl colored kind of thing. Yeah, I'm at Judd Trail tonight. And I'm like, why is she here in the attic with me? You know. And then I realized, in the part of the attic I was in, one floor below was where Doug was sleeping. I went down to the bottom floor, and I went to go take a nap. You know, close my eyes a little bit. And I lie down on the couch, close my eyes, and as I'm dozing off, I hear big boots walking, like big footsteps coming down the stairs behind me. And I'm like, that ain't Doug. You know what I mean? Maybe that's Eric, but Eric was in the room next to me. Maybe it's the owner. So I turn and I look, and the boots stop. I shine the light, the boots stop, nothing. You know, and I'm like, oh, bro, what the heck was that? I think I I tried to go back to sleep, and I heard the boots again. And I think at this time I was like, I was in the hallway on the couch, and I'm like, you know what, the hell with this? I'm not gonna sleep over here. So I went into the room and lie down on the couch in the room. And within a few minutes, I started hearing doors slam. Now, this place, Prospect Place, had these big old, like 8-foot, 10-foot doors. The kind with the round tops, right? Big wooden doors, like the original doors, right? And so it starts slamming, and I'm like, what the hell, you know? And I go out to look, and it occurs to me as I'm walking out to look, yeah, the doors are there, but they're not on their hinges. They're leaning up against the wall, and they're currently being renovated. And I'm like, what the hell? Oh, it's funny, yeah? So I get over there, I walk into the room when we first got there, right next to the front door, and right inside the main room are these huge bags of salt. And I'm like, oh, bro, is this place that haunted? It's these like enormous bags of salt. And Doug is like, what? I'm like, dude, look at all that salt over there, bro. He's like, dude, that's for the roads to make them not freeze. I'm like, oh, shoot. But I was like, oh, this place is unreal, you know. I was like, I thought the place was super haunted. We had gone out in the morning. Eric woke up, and before the sun came up, me and Eric walked out to the barn, but the barn was closed, right? That's where the ex-slaves, they had caught a bounty hunter that found them and hung him in the barn. And so we couldn't get up to the top, but get something over here, bro.
Yeah, the light just lit up. Seen it, I don't know if you've seen it on the video.
What light? This light?
Something red, like your whole half of your face went red.
Oh, I didn't
That's
see
why I
that.
looked up to look at your lights.
Like it's something in the bushes over here.
Huh.
I just got that feeling all of a sudden. Anyway, we heard loud boots walking on the rafters right above us. It was unmistakable. It was just boom, 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 and the creaking and everything. And we were so bummed out we wanted to go up. We almost just snuck up there anyway, but it was rotten, you know, so we never like fall through. The guy's like, if you break anything, you gotta pay for it. The guy was nice, you know. I really enjoyed his presence. I don't think he owns it anymore. I think he sold the Prospect Place to a group of ghost hunters. From what he, huh?
Let's get it again.
What?
Can you see your face light up again?
Really?
Yeah. You not seeing it on the video?
No. My face is lighting up. That side had stuff working in the bushes. So yeah, on that side. That's why Matt's sitting there tonight.
Switch it up, yeah?
Yep.
It's all good. It's all good.
So yeah, that was it. I mean, we were there all night and we had some really cool experiences. Nothing really terrifying and heart-stopping, and you know. So then we drove up to New York and I crashed out in the car a few hours. I'll tell you, being from Hawaii, I've never seen this before. Yeah, we driving through northern New York. All the trees are dead, as far as the eyes can see. Just dead trees, dead landscape. Bro, it was eerie. You know what I mean? It was eerie. So once again, we're driving. We check into the hotel, dump our stuff, grab our equipment, and we have to get to the Rolling Hills Asylum before it closes down, right? And me, I was taught, yeah, I was taught better. When you go, you from Hawaii, you bring stuff from Hawaii, right? So I brought over Mac nuts, I brought over chocolate coffee, and then I realized that they get the kind CVS, so the same thing up here, you know. But it was from Hawaii, and the lady in charge really liked it, although I didn't really get a chance to meet her. Right up on a little hill, here's this big, foreboding-looking asylum. A place that housed mental people for decades, probably well over a century. I can't remember the history, though. It was a sanctuary to many people. A lot bad people went there, good people went there. People who were more like the Elephant Man went there. That kind of stuff, yeah. Sorry. I'm just waiting for something to happen. The wind is going crazy over here tonight. We got in and they did a little tour for us, and the guy that was doing the tour actually shared ghost stories with us about his experiences because he's a paranormal investigator. One of the stories he shared was he had a little EMF on a little EVP, a little voice recorder, and they were investigating, and he had forgotten the voice recorder in the cafeteria, and they went on to the other wings and the other section of the asylum, and so he gets out, you know, he gets over there and he realizes like about an hour later he forgot the recorder, so he rushes back to grab it. And when he played back maybe it was half an hour, when he played back the evidence, he heard like a little boy singing, like just singing, and all of a sudden the voice like, oh, they're coming, and then stops. But then he can hear them coming in on the recorder. So yeah, there was a young boy over there. There was they had a lot of decorations too from what's that horror show, the little series they have on Netflix, I think, American Horror Story. So they had like caskets set up to make them spooky kind looking, and they had all of this stuff set up. It was cool. It was cool to walk around. But the first night it was more or less a tour and a little investigating. We enjoyed it. They showed us the boiler room. They told us the stories. American Horror Story, yeah, that's the one. Oh, Melody, you know everything. But it was, yeah, we got a really good feel for the place, and we're plotting out. They'll be coming back the next night, yeah. And the next night was a lock-in. They lock all the doors, and you can't leave until 3, 4, 5 in the morning. All the doors are locked from the inside, with keys and all that, right? So we got all ready to go, and we started investigating. The first room I want to say we went to was up by the nurses' station. Right next to the nurses' station was a inmate who was this old guy, and he was like a pervert. Like, he'd always try to hit on her, he'd always try to grab her, that kind of stuff, you know what I mean? But she'd just slap him and he'd be good. So we were over there, and it was kind of funny because we're the only people that brought equipment out of like 20 something, right? They all wanted to go ghost hunting, but only me, Doug, and Eric actually had equipment, so the whole group slowly gravitated towards us, yeah. We had all of our equipment set up. We caught cold spots like 10 degree to 15 degree temperature changes in the closet, both down and up. We had a light set up. We had the spirit box on. Um, Eric's style was more or less like you see on the Ghost Hunter story, the Ghost Hunter show, taunting and stuff, right? So he's over there. There's a spirit box in the middle, and he's right across from me. No. He was right in front of me. His back was to me, and he was bent down, kind of squatting, and I'm in a chair, and he's like, yeah, I know you're here, huh? You like to touch the nurses, yeah? You old pervert, and all of this stuff, and I'm like, bro, what are you doing, you? He's like, yeah, what else did you do? You know, like that, and I'm like, bro, I just gonna be quiet, you know, I've tried, I've barked up that tree plenty times. I'm like, I cannot. He's gonna stay true to what he does. And so I'm just sitting back there cruising. Doug's on my left looking at pictures. And all of a sudden I feel, simultaneously, I feel this heat creeping up my back, creeping up my neck and my shoulders. Really, really hot. And at the same time, I feel this overwhelming urge to kick Eric. And I know that there's something there that's on me. I could feel it manifesting, trying to use me for that. And so I don't want to move because I don't want to break the connection. And I'm just kind of side eyeing, and I'm like, Doug. Doug's looking at his phone, and he's like, oh yeah, Joe. I'm like, Doug, get the picture of me. Hurry up. So he's like, oh, why? I'm like, dude, just take a picture of me. Then the thing got off me. I'm like, oh man, I would have loved to see some kind of red or orange glow or something on top of me. That would have been cool, you know. I saw a shadow. So like, I saw a shadow move across the wall, like an arm. And I figured it was Eric. Then it occurred to me that Eric's in front of me. And in front of Eric is the light and the spirit box. And his hand wasn't moving. So the only way to have cast a shadow on the opposite wall would have been if something were to come in between the light and the light and the wall. And nothing was there, yeah? Hey, Mace, how's it? So it was like, yeah, I just saw a disembodied arm go by. More happened. Let's see, we went out for a smoke break, yeah? The guy had to take us outside. He went on a smoke break too, it was all good. Bruh, it was just forest, yeah? It was just forest, this dark forest, no more lights, nothing, yeah? At the time, I had a case that I'm going to share probably night after tomorrow, perhaps. We'll see. Or maybe tomorrow night. I have on this device what I believe to be something demonic speaking in Latin, and this little hiss and this little voice that came up, and this thing was oh, the REM pod is red, bro. Oh, I'm not playing him, bro. Don't worry. I'm not gonna play him. I'll only play here. Oh,
I fucking bumped out of it earlier over there too.
I'm gonna have to do a okupu, I think, if I'm gonna tell that story. This place doesn't like me bringing that stuff
I
here.
think so,
And a
bro.
prayer.
Something
Bro. I don't know, you guys heard the REM pod. The REM pod is right here next to me. And it just turned red and green. So I'm over there and I have this recording of something that I believe to be demonic speaking in Latin. Hey Aussie, how's it? Red means something's up there touching it. Yeah. And I'm like, because he's an investigator, I'm an investigator, and I had just gotten this. This is September of 2014. I think I just gotten this recording in August, the ending of August. And so I'm still excited to, you know, that kind of stuff. I'm so excited to, yeah, Pumpaiji. I'm so excited to show people this and get his opinion on it, right? And so I play it for him as we're smoking cigarette outside.
I think they like you better, bro. No matter what side you on.
It wasn't going off last night over there, bro.
Nope, but the bush was.
Yeah. And as I played the thing, all I heard was a whole bunch of howling. Just howling coming from deep in the forest. And I'm like, oh, you guys get dogs, coyotes. What is that? The guy's like, Joe, that's wolves. And I'm like, for real? I'm like, oh, that's neat. Get wolves, brah. I'm like, oh, that's gonna be one awesome story. We don't have wolves over here in Hawaii, you know. First time I heard wolves howling. And so I play another recording for him, and then the howling is now right at the tree line, which is like about 80 to 100 yards away from us. And I'm like, bro, that moved here really fast. He's like, yeah. He's like, put out your cigarettes. Time to go back in. We got wolves on the tree line. I'm like, but they would only howl when I would start playing the recording. Within like the button, look. There you go. Oh, so can you make the blue light go off too? Can you make the blue light go off? Oh, brah. Can you make the blue light go off? All the lights are going off. Can you see them on the light?
Well, I got the delay, so.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's coming up.
Thank you. Oh, bro, that's cool. Well, the string lights have been red since 2 weeks ago since they went red at Mililani. They haven't turned back on the tripwire. Yeah, it didn't go off once last night. Now it's like, yeah. And nothing is moving around it. All right. Tell you what. Can you make all the lights at once? All four. That and the green. All at the same time. You gotta grab the wire hard. Or grab the antenna hard. And have all the lights go off. No? Okay, thank you. Sorry. That's why I try to tell stories and I'm getting distracted. Brah. See, the thing about the REM pods is I never wanted to buy one because they never really work in Hawaii. I couldn't really ever get them to work unless you touch them, but that's cool. I guess the energy, yeah. Maybe I'll do that after Halloween. I'll tell you guys how they work, from how I understand it anyway. We'll have a guest, Lord Jubu. He knows a lot of kind of stuff. Matthew, how's it? Wow, that's cool. Anyway, so we went back in after the... Bro, can I tell the story? You can go after the story, okay? Thank you. If I'm in danger, make the lights go off again. Thank you. You're welcome.
Not the right question to ask, Joe.
Yeah. I know.
It's all good,
I'll tell you what. If I'm in danger, make the lights don't go off for 5 minutes. Son of a gun.
I think because you're telling the stories, that's why. You're getting more of the activity.
Things coming close when I telling the stories.
Yeah.
Dora Jean, how's it? So yeah, anyway, so we go back into the Rolling Hills Asylum, and there's like so many places to go. You know what I mean? It's so awesome. We went to, and I got a video of this. I want to record the screen record them. This was the morgue, right? No, moisture doesn't affect it. It was in the rain and nothing was happening. So this was in the morgue in Rolling Hills Asylum. It was cool. The urban legend, or what people say, is that in the morgue they have this big slab, this big stone slab. That's the preparation table. It has a little drain on the slab. Hey, mahalo for the start, Scott. They have a little drain on the bottom of the slab. Troy, you might be right. I think they're getting anxious about the story because they know what's coming up. Bobby Mackey's. But strangely enough, that's where people die. That's where the dead bodies go, and that's where you prepare and do the autopsy. Not autopsy, but prepare the body, take out the fluids, and the fluids all drain into the drain on the bottom of the slab. But strangely enough, people who lie on the slab feel compressions in their chest. Like someone performing CPR. Which is like, if that's the only place you will not perform CPR, because the only thing that's on there is a dead body already, you know, that they've already cut into and drained the fluids from. So yeah, I lied down on it. I'll show you guys that video in a second. There was another thing too. They had the kind of one suit just hanging from the ceiling attached to one Suji wire, one Suji line. So the suit would rotate, you know what I mean? No wind, no more nothing in that room. It would just rotate sometimes. And so I remember I saw one light right there, right in the bush, one flash. It was like when camera flashed right over there in the bush. So as we walked into there to check it out, we walked out, right? After we kind of checked it out a little bit, and we're walking to another place. And as we're walking to another place, I remember while we were there, the suit was slowly turning counterclockwise, right? And so I was like, oh, as I left, can you stop?
I hear any drum.
No.
It's like when I
I heard drums. Okay.
heard.
Tell me if you ever hear them like steady.
Yeah, that's what I'm kind of waiting for, but it just one boom.
Yeah, because we leave in the tent here if that's the case. And then I looked and it stopped. And it's just like facing me. This suit on a hanger on a little Suji wire. And it just faces me for a few seconds. And I'm like, can you spin the other way? So it starts to spin the other way. And I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool. I brought a weeby back. And so we came back a little while later, and I went to go lie on top of the thing. And Doug recorded me. Here, wait. Matter of fact, Bobby Mackey's. But here's the table. It's kind of loud.
So on this table, people lie down, they get questions or something. This is in the morgue, yeah? This is where they put dead bodies and fluids would funnel out over here where they would prepare them.
Tubu.
There's
You guys
three
have to
times
run.
in
Make
North
sure you leave the camera running.
right by your arm in the same direction.
But,
You know what is flag? Okay.
that's me 10 years younger with a black beard. So watch. What you're gonna see is orb. Yes, Juba. We'll make sure the cameras are running. An embalming table, yeah. And so you see, I'm gonna turn the volume down just because it's really loud. But you'll see a little orb crawl across my chest. Like you'll see the little tiny dust go zoom, 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 zoom. But this one just literally crawls across my chest, and then right after that I grab my chest because it's like I feel something. We'll do YouTube first. See right there. Now we'll do Facebook next. Sorry, I get two phones here. Right over from the right to the left, because this is backwards now apparently. Right there. And then I grab my chest because I see something.
This one again, bro.
I will try one more time. You heard another drum.
Yeah.
See it. Let's see if we can see it on both. Right over there. Yep. I know my people are like, bro, why'd you do that? You stupid or what? You know. New moon is on Halloween too. Oh, tonight's moon phase is Kane. Yeah, when I had black hair and I wore glasses. I'll tell you what, if you turn the... I don't see if you guys can change the colors on the tripwire. The red lights all around, if you can make them a different color or purple, that'll be awesome. That would really get my attention. I'm sorry. I forgot to do protocol over here. Aloha kupuna. Aloha akua. Aloha to the spirits of Judge Trail of this area over here. Kahuai Lanavai, Nu'uanu Valley. Mahalo for allowing us here tonight. If we're in danger of something, if you would like us to leave, because tonight is not a good night, we do not want to impose. Let us know. Give us a sign, and we will leave. Thank you for allowing us here. We're going to be sharing stories as we usually do. And I hope you guys enjoy and listen. And there's another light right in front of me.
Smell too, though. Change the smell.
Yeah. Well, that would be a trigger point with many deceased souls being on the table, yeah. But yeah, so that happened, you know. It was cool. It was awesome. I really enjoyed that one. We went up into the hallway where it gets shadow people, right? It's called the shadow hallway, where you go all the way in the back of the hallway, and we just sat down on a desk and we watched. Now this is a place like, I don't know, I want to say like a good 80 yards long. Okay, it's like 3 stories, 80 yards long each floor, right? And it's like a hospital ward. You have rooms to the left and to the right, and it was no doors. They're just these big black gaping holes inside of them, right? So it's like it's pitch black in the rooms, and then you walk through them or you walk by them. You heard that?
Yep.
It was moving.
Pegs,
It was
too
moving
flat.
from there, from here to there. Yeah.
It is again.
1, 2, 3. You can do them 3 times. It's funny. That sounded like it was almost right above the REM pod.
Yeah. I hear it above there, yeah.
Can I tell stories or should I do something else tonight? Look, they're trying. That light's pure green now. I know. I'm looking for purple because I know ghosts are magic and they can make magic things happen. Yeah.
You know, ooze coming.
Huh?
You get a ooze coming.
Oh yeah, above you guys.
Exactly.
You
Where
said
we both
above
go.
you guys as we hear something walking on my tent above us, guys. Brah. Stories, yeah. I'm sorry, we over here, we get stuff going on. That REM pod doesn't usually go off. And now it's going off like crazy. Sonu, how's it? How's it? Oh, brah. We love it. Heard something and YouTube glitched. So anyways, yeah, you're walking by and there's a pitch black room. We get our lights, we're walking around with our flashlights, right? And inside the room get these big stuffed animals and all of that stuff. Yeah, I know I'm protected. I just don't want to disrespect the spirits. If they like us leave, I'm not going to exert my will over there. So. And in the room, we were sitting all the way in the back. Keep in mind, there's like probably about 4 rooms for each side now. These big rooms that have double doors. And we're just staring down the hall. There's a little light, like an exit light. And according to, I think, those ghost shows, they see like a shadow person, a shadow figure walking through the hall. And that's the light that they can see it cast on, right? So we must have been sitting down 45 minutes or so, just staring at the hall, looking at nothing. I decided I'm going to go explore. So the room we're sitting next to, I went to check that one out. And, brah, it was a room full of about 300 dolls. All over the floor, on tables, on chairs, just these dolls, these little dolls, right? And so I'm walking around, just checking it out. I'm kind of like creeped out, and there's...
Wow. Sorry. Excuse my language. Apologize, guys. That creeped me out, bro.
I don't know if you guys heard that. Girls get hiccups too. How's it? I'm from Kaneohe as well. Bruh, that was one tree that fell down about 10 yards from us, bro. It just collapsed. Thank you, thank you. That's probably why they wanted us to leave. Now the thing not going off anymore, the REM pod. Because we stupid, the tree didn't fall over, it fell straight down.
Yeah.
That's what it sounded like. Yeah, it just
Yeah.
went straight down.
Straight from the top to the ground.
Yeah.
Boom.
Mahalo, mahalo, mahalo. Oh, bro, I get
my-
chicken skin, bro.
Me too, bro. My head is on its ends. And it's right after the big winds too. Like as you started talking again, the wind got super
Oh,
strong.
God. I'm sorry, getting distracted. I know I get stories to tell. I'm getting distracted.
No, my apologies, guys.
No, bro. That's like, it's not often you sitting down and one tree falls 10 yards away from you. You know what I mean? Okay, I gotta find. Mahalo to the, mahalo, exactly, Troy. Thank you. Mahalo to the spirits of Judd Trail, to the spirits of Nu'uanu. Thank you for keeping us safe. Mahalo, mahalo, mahalo. I appreciate it. Thank you, thank you. I hope you enjoyed the stories. I never went Castle. I went Kamehameha. You remember Castle High School Theater?
Yeah.
I've been in the theater many times. My eyesight is so bad. The statue of the knight statue was on the stage, and my daughter was up there giving one speech and a whole bunch of other kids. And the first person that went up on the stage, I thought was one midget. I thought the statue was a person, and then everybody else was small compared to it. I remember that. I told my family, I'm like, bro, all those people are midgets. How do you get people like 4 feet tall to do this? You know? They're like, what do you mean? I'm like, bro, you see the person standing behind him? It's like, no, you dummy, that's a statue. I'm like, oh, that's a 7 foot tall, 8 foot tall statue. Okay, we'll continue the stories. So we're in the room with all the dolls in it, and one doll caught my eye. It was a Native American doll, right smack in the middle, right? So I watched her, and I thought it was kind of cool that as I walked in the room, she was looking at me. She was facing the door, right? And so I walk in around, shining my light, and I walk around the room. And this time I came in on, we'll say this side of the room, the right side of the room. And I walked around to the left corner, where no more door, and just enjoying it. I'm like, yeah, kind of cool, creepy dolls, you know, whatever. And then I turn around to walk back and looking at the dolls, and I notice that the Native American doll is now staring at the moved. Now it's looking at me again. This time it's not looking towards the door where I came in from. It's looking towards the corner that I'm coming from. And I'm like, oh, hell no. This doll just turned by itself. I'm the only one in the room. So I go outside, I grab my phone, I go out into the hall. I'm like, bro, Doug, get one doll over here, bro. Get one doll over here. Looking at me. I grab my phone and I videotape this. And I'm like, I walk in and the doll's facing me again. And I'm like, you see that doll? That doll was facing me and it moved. I went over to this corner and I recorded the corner. And then that doll, and I go back and the doll had turned again and it was watching me. I'm like, oh, bruh, I didn't get it moving, but I did see it change its thing from one frame to the other. I have that post in the group. I even have it saying here, I'm resurrecting this post from years ago, and there's no video. It's just words. Weird, yeah? Doug just laughed. He's like, oh, that's a good ghost. That's a good spirit. She's playing with you. She's having fun. There's a tricycle in the theater that's haunted. Oh, cool. But yeah, what else? We went down to they were all hanging up there, Doug and Eric. They wanted to see a shadow. I got bored. I wanted to walk around. So I walked through the place. Keep in mind, it's like 80 yards, okay? Then you gotta walk down 3 flights of stairs, or, you know, by yourself. At this time, it was about 3:30 in the morning or so, 4 o'clock maybe. Everybody had left but us and the guy, the staff was in the office. And so I wanted to walk clear to the other side by myself, kind of test myself a little bit, you know what I mean? I like try to get scared. I want to see if I run or if I stay or what. So I get Eric's green light and I'm recording. Or I have my phone and I'm recording walking the whole distance. I pass the morgue. I videotape the morgue as the suit turns around, turning, faces me and stops again. I'm like, brah, this time was scary. I was by myself, right? Far away, like probably 5 minutes away if I were to run. I passed the psych ward where literally it was the old section, brick, old stained brick with literal chains and shackles in the wall. That's what they did with psychiatric patients, with schizophrenic patients before medications. They just chained them to the wall. Had one old bath, I remember, and I went down to where the heater was, right? The furnace room, where according to the kind Ghost Adventures, I think it was, or maybe it was the Ghost Hunters, there was the caretaker of the furnace, right? And he was a bad guy. He was a P word. And so, yeah. But there was never any record of that, right? But they said that on the TV show to make him look bad. And even the guy was like, dude, there was never any record. Nobody even knows the name. I don't know how the heck they figured out this guy was a P word. You know what I mean? And I'm like, all right, whatever. So I go down there and I decide I'm going to give him a chance to clear his name. Sometimes you hear chains rattle. Sometimes, all of this stuff. But I'm already scared. I get there and I'm already terrified. And I'm like, bro, I'm like now probably about a good, I don't know, 5-10 minutes of full sprint back. You know what I mean? To the only people in the whole building. I get there and I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna get there. I'm just gonna record something real fast, and then I'm gonna run. Then I'm gonna head back. And so I did that, and I'm like, the recorder, I'm like, if you're here, give me a sign. Okay, you're not here, bye. And as I'm walking fast back to my friends, I look at my phone. I forgot to press record. And I'm like, bro, I get one group on Facebook. I gotta do this to entertain them, So I pushed record and I walked back. I did the same thing. And I was like, bro, this was so unnerving. Nothing really much happened, but before that, through the night, we had a real event that was kind of scary. That had a little bit of a ghost too. We all get called to go back to the main office. Back to the room where they briefed us. The guy came over there and he's like, okay, so I found that there was an unlocked door. Somebody opened the door. He's like, so now we need to look because this place is unsecure. You guys wait over here. He turns to Eric, the biggest guy. Eric, come, follow me. He locks us in, yeah. He's like, come, he's like, you, the big guy, come, follow me. He reaches into the drawer, pulls out a gun, and starts walking the halls. And they walk and they clear every room in the whole building to make sure nobody in the building, yeah. And so they come back about 15 minutes later. Building is cleared. They didn't find anybody, but Eric had a ghost story. He went into the room where the nurse was, the nursing station, and he heard a woman say hello, just say hello right into his ear. He went jump, He's like, oh, what is that? And he's like, what? Did you hear the woman say hello? He's like, oh, how did you know that? He's like, oh, people hear that from time to time. He's like, yeah, I heard the woman, Turned out, I think it was a bunch of kids, like teenagers. 2 of them paid for the tour to be locked in. Then they went to open the door for their friends. Because right after we got out, they all bailed out. And the party, the young guys, the teenagers left, yeah. They were the kind, they wanted to have a party. Now, I'll go to the next place we went was Bobby Mackey's. The place after that, I'm going to tell you guys about because I kind of want to say Bobby Mackey's for last. We went to the Saddamsville Rectory. Look, the thing. Quiet now, yeah? It was trying to tell us the tree was going to fall, I think.
Maybe. He did say look up. This thing told us to look up.
Yeah, then we said look up. I'm like, bruh, the
That-
spirits were telling us that it was gonna fall. Thank you.
One light was blue too for a little while.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool. So to recap what happened, the REM pod was going off the whole time. Uilani says, look up. We hear something walking on top of our pop-up tent. Moving from one side to the other.
Left to right, yeah. And
The wind
left to
picks
right,
up,
and
the place gets scary, the lights keep going off, and then all of a sudden a tree collapses about 10 yards away from us. And now there's silence. I really think that the spirits were telling us, were warning us about that. And I thank them for keeping us safe. They're like, look at these dummies. Bro, we tried to warn them, and they're not moving. Ah, they make us work now, you know? Footsteps at your friend's house at night. Nah, that's cool. Long as that's not scratch marks, you know? Just like the dolls that are donated to the Japanese shrine in Japan. The dolls are known to move around by themselves too. Yep, exactly, Julie. So Saddamsville Rectory, a little history on that place was, it was a rectory. It's a place where the priest lives, right? The priest that lived in that rectory was said to have had sleepovers with the nuns. Yeah, we'll leave it at that. And dog fighting in the basement. And so, like, we got to investigate the whole place all night. You know what I mean? You know what? I'll check that out. It's a good question, Cheryl. I'll check that out after the live. We can go walk into the bush and look. Right. And so we went over there. It was cool. We got out. I got out of the car. We're walking over there. Get one little bell tower, yeah. And we look up. And all I see are like 100 bats flying around the bell tower, bro. I'm like, oh, this is awesome, bro. This was in like Cincinnati, yeah. Like, this is awesome. We get bats in the bell tower. Look at that. Yeah, I know. Poor me, stuck on an island, you know. And so we walked in there and we just investigated. And there was one point where we went up into the basement. We went up into the attic. We went everywhere looking around. There were beds we could sleep in, all of that. We still got the hotel room, though. It felt like there was something sleeping. This big entity sleeping, yeah? And so we, hey, Shani, how's it? Okay. And so we were just kind of checking it out, doing investigating. My friend Eric had 3, 4, or 5 of these REM pods, the same kind, yeah? He put them on, like, 2 are on a stair, one stair, another stair, a few feet apart, and then down the hall. And he called us up. Me and Ann, one of our friends, were down in the kitchen talking story. We were looking because there was a door in the kitchen. The door was changed, but the door frame was original. It had claws stuck in it from the dogs that tried to dig their way out, that were starved to fight, right? They would try to dig their way out, and the claws would fall off and be stuck in it. That's how bad this place was. Full-on animal abuse. And all that kind of stuff.
I heard that.
I know you guys heard that, but again, now. And so, all of a sudden, we're looking at those things, and me and Ann start to hear growling. Sounded like it was coming from the very room we were in. We hear this growling. And then the snarling, and I'm looking at her, and I'm like, "Oh, bro, this really happening for real right now? This is happening." And I'm thinking it's the spirit of the dogs and that kind of stuff. And then we hear it again, but this time it's outside the window, outside the room. And I'm like, "Oh, it's outside now." So we pull the curtain back, and I look. It's just a bunch of raccoons, and bunch of raccoons were fighting over the cat food because they would feed the cats, yeah. And so they were just all over there, and me, I'm like, these guys, leave the cat food for the cats, huh? So I go outside, open up the door. I'm thinking that the raccoons are like pigeons because that's the first raccoon I've ever seen in my life. So I try to scare them away, yeah. So you get the pigeons, you stomp your foot and go like that, right? and they all fly away. Yeah, well, I found out that doesn't work on raccoons. They slowly turned towards me, stood up on their hind legs with their hands outstretched like that, started growling, and I'm like, okay, eat as much as you want, buddy, and I closed the door. For the REM pod, Eric he called us to come up, but I didn't come up because I didn't want to shift the energy, right? The energy is good for whatever he's doing at that moment. And so he would sit there and he would say, can you make the red lights go off? And then all the red lights would go off. And he'd say, can you make the blue lights go off? Then all the blue lights would go off. Then he said, can you make the blue light and the green light on the third REM pod go off? The blue light and the green light on the third REM pod went off, nothing else. And he was doing this for a while. He was like, okay, could you make it yellow in this pattern? 2, 3, 1, 1, 4. And there, 2, 3, 1, 1, 4, the REM pod, so the lights would go off like that. There was definitely some kind of intelligent entity that he was talking to over there. I got the impression that it was a kid. I don't know why. We went into the basement. We did a little bit of ghost hunting down there. We got the EMF detector. Yeah, I gotta put batteries. I can get one over here. I think I get 2. The EMF detector, and it would register yes and no depending on the frequency. Yeah, the numbers. So we'd say if the answer is yes, shoot up to like 4 or 5, and if the answer is no, go down to like 1 or 2, and it would answer us like that. It was kind of cool. About 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock in the morning, everybody wants to go. We're tired. We just paid for this place, but we had a hotel waiting for us. Jubu. That's why I hesitate to get the kind when we go Big Island next month. We will be like, oh, bro, we tired. It's 3 o'clock in the morning. My bed is all the way over there waiting for me and my pillow. You know what I mean? And it's going to be like, oh, so tempting, but no. So we ended up going back. Of course, they made me do it, right? They made me close off all the lights. They over there loading everything up. Prior to this, as we're kind of making the decision, I go outside. It's 2 o'clock in the morning there. So it was about, I want to say, 5-hour difference. So like 9 o'clock at night in Hawaii, 8 o'clock. And I call up my kids, to talk story with them, see how they're doing. I'm talking story with my kids, and my ovilus next to me starts saying these bad words. Dirty words, nasty. And then in the phone call, I hear this raspy voice saying the words too. It was like dirty, this, I'm not going to repeat the words, but it was, a lot of them started with a D. And it was like, I could hear this voice on my phone. Thankfully, my kids couldn't. And I just started hearing things, and it was kind of creepy. I was already creeped out because now I'm hearing this voice, the same voice that's on here, and that spoke to me in Latin, and I'm hearing it on my phone now. That had happened a couple times, and I try to ignore it. My son's not hearing anything, my daughter's not hearing anything, so I'm glad. But I do cut the call short. And then they're like, okay, we're going to go. Joe, can you close all the lights? And so I have to go start at the back of the house, turn off the light. So now the room I'm standing in is pitch black. At the same time, I feel something stirring. I feel something waking up. It must have been in the attic or the basement. I don't know where it was. But it was big and it was bad. And I could feel this thing just slowly waking up. The energy slowly becoming conscious as I'm walking through this house that's now pitch black. I had to go into the basement, and I don't know whose smart idea this was, right? You get the stairs over here, then you gotta go, the stairs look like this, then on the right and the left, get the basement that goes back. So the stairs all the way down, and then you go back to the basement. Guess where the light switches were? On the back. So I had to turn the light switch off, and then run to the stairs, and then do it again on the other side, turn the light switch off, and run like 10 yards over to the stairs, and then turn off the stair light and run up the stairs. I'm like, I was traumatized. It was like PTSD, My back is towards the road, correct. So if you see red lights, I try to announce when there's cars coming. But yeah. So yeah, that was Saddamsville Rectory. I think earlier statement about being unsafe was accurate. They're probably not the ones causing the sound. Might be a different group. Okay, we will find out. It was, there's so many horrible things. Yeah, I was gonna leave the lights on, but then the couple that I don't know if you guys watch Ghost Adventures, but they were on, I think it was a Ghost Adventures Revisited or something. They were a nice couple, you know what I mean? And they're nice enough to rent it out. They don't rent it out anymore. So we're nice enough to respect the place, yeah. Um, considering the husband got possessed over there, that kind of stuff. Keeping things in check because stories are different tonight. Joe knows him. Yeah. These aren't even the scary stories.
Yeah, but it is a different version,
Yeah, these aren't even scary stories, bro. Maybe I gotta find one other place to do them tomorrow night. Maybe one church. I don't know. Cause that's when car
Oh.
jamming. So then we so let me tell you the story about Bobby Mackey's. And keep in mind that this was before Bobby Mackey's. This was the night before Saddamsville. Bobby Mackey's was a test for me because I had gotten this case just a month prior. That was a demonic possession case, and this thing singled me out and was messing with me. It would invade my dreams. It would invade my privacy, my phone calls. It would speak. Now, if you're into paranormal, you're an investigator, you'll get one little noise, and then they say, "Oh, can you do that again?" 99% of the time, they don't do it again, right? This one was, yeah, I do them again. I do them as many times as you ask. This thing was something different. And so I went to Bobby Mackey's, and at the time, I didn't feel like, okay, I didn't feel like for my guardians and the people that protect me that I should be calling them for help. It felt stupid to me. Oh, I'm gonna go to a haunted place and I'm gonna go ghost hunting and tell ghost stories and stuff. And then when the ghosts come, we'll go, "Hey God, help me, get rid of the ghost from me." You know what I mean? It's like I'm the dummy that was there in the first place. I'm not gonna call God for help. You know what I mean? Or Jesus or any of that. So I told Bobby Mackey's, I told the spirits, to my guardians and my guides, stay outside. I want to feel the full brunt of this place, and I want to be able to know that I can deal with this myself. So we walk into Bobby Mackey's. A little bit of real fast history recollection, a little recap. 1800s, it was a slaughterhouse. There was a girl, Pearl Bryant, supposedly, who was murdered there. Well, she was murdered, her head was chopped off, thrown into the slaughterhouse. They had a well that emptied. That was weird. YouTube just reconnected. Hey, my brother. Bro, stop making things up there. No ghosts. Come join me, please. I listen to people. I listen to people. People are amazing. But people that go out and do what I do have a lot more credit when they're having their opinions, or people who have experienced stuff I'll listen to. It's fun. It's not scary. There's spirits, and to me, they're the kupuna, right? So, yeah. I know. Come Hawaii, take one lava rock. No, I'm just kidding. But, so I go in, okay, then it was I want to say like a bar for the mafia. I forget exactly what it was, but they still had the emblem on the floor as you enter. One of the one of the bosses' daughter would sing over there, and you know what I mean, that kind of stuff. She'd sing, she'd have fun. She was an entertainer. she fell in love with one of the henchmen. Um, I believe the henchman was, I forget, Robert Randall Mackey or Mickey or something like that. Same name as the owner of the bar, which was really weird. Um, she ended up getting pregnant by him. Well, I also need to say Pearl Bryant, the first victim, was in her second trimester, and she was murdered because she was pregnant. The guy didn't want to have a kid. You can look it up and you can see all this stuff. Some people said it happened, some people don't. These are just the stories that go around. You gotta look the. You know what? I'll go do this right now too. Just because I like the. Bobby Mackey actually made songs. Country. It's a country bar, yeah. And he made some songs about this. I'll play a couple seconds of it. And the other girl, Johanna, she fell in love. The father killed the henchman because he didn't like it. And so Johanna killed herself. She poisoned herself in the backstage. And she wrote a love letter on the rafters. She carved it in there, and that's where it is. It's still there today. She was in her second trimester too when she died. Oh, I love these songs. They're cool. You should listen to it. Look up Bobby Mackey songs. Pearl Bryant, Poor Girl, and Johanna. Yeah. So we couldn't go back into the rafters. I really wanted to. We kind of explored a lot. You know, it's said to have been witchcraft. After that, it was abandoned, and Bobby Mackey bought it. Bobby Mackey's wife was 2 months pregnant when she was pushed down the stairs by an unseen force, and she had a miscarriage. You know, it's just, there's a lot of strange things over there, a lot of old things and stuff. So in the basement, the guy Carl, I believe his name was, he was the caretaker. He lived there. He lived on the second floor, and he had a dream. And the dream told him to go into the basement and dig in this area. And so he did. He dug into that area and he found the well where all the blood was poured into and that went into the river, and Pearl's head was supposedly thrown into that well. He uncovered that well, and it was said that when he dug up that well, he uncovered a portal to hell. And he slowly kind of went insane. The aftermath ghost adventures show that Carl had to get exercise several times, like every few months kind of thing. A priest had to come over, bless him, because he would kind of lose it. He had just passed away a few months prior to me going there, so they actually allowed us into his room to investigate, into his house, his hale, his apartment on the third floor, or second floor. And so we went over there, ghost hunting, walking around, asking questions, made some cool, funny pictures, you know what I mean, with the slow shutter speed. It was all right. So then we go into the bottom room, into the basement. Now you have to walk outside to go to the basement, right? So you go out the front door, and the lady who's in charge, she would lock the door after you, and then you would have to, when you're coming back up, you would have to knock on the door, and she'd come and open it and let you in. We had to walk all the way around outside, go into the basement at Bobby Mackey's, and then it was like just a basement, right? It was like a big basement. There were the dressing rooms that are also haunted, and in front of the portal to hell there was the Room of Faces. The Room of Faces, I wonder if I had a recording of that. The Room of Faces was a small room. I know I think I recorded some of that. I forget which was the place. Just so you guys can picture it a little better. Oh wait, wrong tablet. Wrong iPad. Oh yeah, here we go. Oh no, this is another one where it just shows a portal to hell.
It's light. I just have the light. Basement of Bobby Mackey's.
There's a little well. Yeah, the well's blocked off.
Let's see what else I get here.
There you go.
This is where the slaughterhouse, they dumped all the cow's blood. This is where supposedly they dumped Pearl's head after they murdered her.
I'll
And
have to
this
look
is
more,
where-
but I have a video where I walk through everything and I show you guys the room. So, yeah, Jubal, there was a troll. um, oh, okay. Eric's Baldy, sorry, real fast. We're here to tell stories. We're here to share stories, enjoy stories. We're not here to defend ourselves and argue and that kind of stuff, right? I will gladly do it after. You want to send me a message? Send me a message. I'd love to discuss and talk story with you, but right now I got a job. I'm coming here to tell stories, not just for you guys, but for the Pupuna, the spirits around here. I've been coming here for over 10 years, like 15 years now, and they love hearing stories, yeah? And so I like to maintain my rapport. Anyway, but that's it.
No, Melody made a mistake. She commented. She replied to.
Okay, okay. Yeah.
She made an accidental. mistake.
Okay, yeah. If it starts an argument in the chat, that's kind of not what I want. You know what I mean? We're here to enjoy. We're here to have fun, not feeling like you have to defend yourself, right? I would love to argue, no problem. I love to argue, talk story all the time. We can both learn, maybe, you know, sometimes. Oh yeah. Anyway, so Bobby Mackey's. We get into the room of faces. It's just brick walls around. They get dolls inside. They get all these little things. They get 4 chairs set up, which was perfect. Me and Doug were sitting next to each other. Anne and Jennifer were sitting across from each other. So I was sitting next to Anne. Doug was across from me, and Doug was sitting next to Jennifer. There was nothing on the chairs around us. Nothing near the chairs, right? And so we turn off the lights and we start the regular questions. You know what I mean? Like, oh, is anybody here? Would you like to let us know that you're here? Let us know, kind of thing. And then you hear like metal, something clanging on the metal. And I'm like, who's hitting the metal? It's the chair leg, right? I turn the light on, my flashlight. Jennifer is kind of sitting there like, I'm not moving, Joe, but it's coming from my chair. And I'm like, I turn off the light, you hear the clanging again from Jennifer's chair. She said, Joe, I swear to God, I'm not doing that. Something is like clicking her chair, flicking her chair. And I get a little irritated. Bobby Mackey's is supposed to be more scary than this, right? And so I was like, I almost said something, but then I wouldn't passive aggressively say them. I was like, oh, bro, you know, and then I'm like, oh, never mind. Oh, Doug. Doug's like, what? I'm like, oh, Doug, I almost went mess up. He's like, why? He's like, you know, for me, I get mad. I get kind of, not mad, but like, this place is supposed to have demons. This place is supposed to have evil spirits. I told Doug, I'm like, brah, I almost told these spirits. What? This place is supposed to be demons and evil spirits and all this. And all you can do is flick one chair leg. You know what I mean? And Doug's like, and you just said that, so thank you. I'm like, I never mean to say that, but you know, I said, I almost said that. Doug's like, no, you just said it. And then Anne turns to me. She's holding her rosary. Hey, thank you for the subscription. Thank you. Anne's holding her rosary now. And she turns to me. She's like, Joe, I forgot my prayers. And I'm like, you forgot your prayers? She's like, yeah. And then Doug's like, Joe, teach her about the white light. Tell her how to protect herself. So I'm like, okay, Anne, what you need to do is, all of it, as I say that, what you need to do is burn throughout the whole room. This loud, like deep loud, not like this little, you know, this deep loud noise shook the room, right? And it shook the room, and everybody jumped up, bro. We were so scared. Stomach caught in the throat. And then as I reached the top of my jump, I realized what happened. Next to Anne was a generator. The generator, probably about 5 feet, you know, big generator. Because it was cold, so the heater had to turn back on. So that's what I'm guessing anyway. Like 5 feet long and like maybe 4 feet high. And brah, we looked at each other and we noticed that loud noise that would make everybody jump was just the generator. And then as I'm actually, this is how fast the thought process worked. I'm like, oh, freaking generator. And then I'm going back into my seat. I'm like, oh, what timing? And I'm like, oh, what kind of timing was that? Just as I start telling her how to protect herself, it interrupts me. And so I'm like, hell no. This is not just a generator. And so I go up to her, I put my hands around her ear, and I'm yelling at her, because the generator's still going off, and I'm yelling in her ear. I'm like teaching her how to protect herself with the white light, surrounding her. I'm telling her, under your feet, over your body, over your shoulders, around you, imagine it, blah, blah, blah. And as soon as I say the last word, the generator stops. And now the whole room is silent. Like, you want to talk about stuff, something is hanging on the air, all right? This energy that the generator had just created is lingering like little specks. I could feel it, like these little electric sparks just settling all over the room. Spirits take energy to manifest. I felt this most pilau thing, nasty thing, right in my face, like this. Just like right up against me like that, glaring at me, giving me stink eye, pissed off at me. I could almost smell it. I could feel that energy. And I'm like, and they could too. Something was there. They were all like holding their breath. They didn't breathe or anything. And all of a sudden, my mouth started working, and I wasn't controlling the words coming out my mouth. And I say, you need to leave. You need to leave or my guardian will devour you. And in the same breath, I recorded all of this, voice recording. In the same breath, you hear me say, what the hell did I just say? My guardian will devour you? And it all kind of snapped into place. I have a new guardian. If you listen to some of the stories previously this month, there is a night I do stories about Kukailimoku. Ku the Snatcher, Ku the Devourer of Land, the God of War. He came, and these things went run. Whatever this was in front of me went run. It was gone. It just booked it. And I was like, as soon as I said that, everybody let out a breath, like, oh. Everybody relaxed, and they're like, what the hell just happened? You know, and I'm like, I don't know what the hell that was. I think that was me summoning my guardian, but I didn't know he was my guardian, you know? This guy wanted me to do human sacrifice a couple years ago. As a ho'okupu to him, as an offering to him. I'm like, brah, now this guy like be my guardian. What's going on? Then Eric comes in. He's like, oh, what's going on? What happened? I'm like, brah, never mind. He would set up all this equipment all over the basement, like sound equipment and all that to capture EVPs. And I'm like, dude, I think I scared away the ghost, man. I'm like, I'll tell you what, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to go upstairs now because you want to capture something. And I really think I scared away the ghost. So if I stay down here with you, the ghosts aren't going to come. So I went upstairs and I hung out. I told the lady that I work over there. I forget her name, but she's on my Facebook. I see her every now and again. I told her what happened. And she was like, oh, that's so cool, you know. So we were just talking story, and then I'm like, I noticed my glasses are missing. And I'm looking for my glasses. I go back down into the basement, I'm looking for my glasses. They're nowhere. I can't find my glasses anywhere. And I'm like, all right, well, I'm going to go upstairs into the Kai and Carl's room, because we was hanging out, goofing off up there earlier. And Jennifer's like, oh, you want me to come with you, Joe? I'm like, nah, no worry, I get him. After what happened down there, I ain't scared of nothing anymore. You know what I mean? So I start walking down past the vault, past that little bull that people ride in the kind country bars. And I start walking up the stairs. I remember they're really narrow, they're really creaky, they were wooden. And as I start walking up the stairs, I start saying out loud the Lord's Prayer. And I'm like, what the hell? I mean, I'm not even doing it. My voice just starts saying, I'm walking up the stairs and all that. I'm just cool. I'm just chilling. And I'm like, Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Like, you know. And I just go with it. I'm like, whatever. That's kind of weird though. And I'm in Carl's room now, his apartment, all by myself. And I'm looking for my glasses. And I go to the corner where I was standing. And I'm looking around. And all of a sudden, this hot wind blasts me in the face. It felt like somebody opened up an oven that was at 400 degrees right in front of my face. That's the heat that I felt just boom, rushing at me. I turned around and I booked it. I ran. I ran down the stairs. I had to be by people. I calming myself down, trying to control my breathing. And I noticed as I'm trying to control my breathing is getting shallower and shallower. I'm having a hard time breathing. And I'm trying not to freak out, you know what I mean? But I can feel myself slowly suffocating. My lung capacity is getting smaller and smaller and smaller. And I'm trying to calm down, and I'm sitting down, trying to calm down, trying to chill out. I'm sitting down with everybody, get Jen over there, get the lady that ran the place over there, a few of us, right? And I'm like, okay, I'm going to distract myself. So I turn on the spirit box, right? I bought a spirit box from Rolling Hills, the SP7. Turn on the spirit box. All of a sudden, you hear a voice yelling, "Get out!" I'm like, oh, you heard that, you know? And they're all looking, and they're like, what the hell? Leave! I'm like, be gone! Like, these are words that are being yelled at me over the radio station static. Leave, be gone, get out of here, run, you know. And I'm like, what the hell is going on? And all of a sudden I hear knocking. Well, I can't do that, it's gonna make you guys dizzy. I hear a loud knocking coming from the front door, and I'm like, oh, that's Eric. The lady stands up to open the door. I'm like, no, I get him. I'm gonna go outside, smoke a cigarette, you know. Maybe not the best idea if he's suffocating, but I needed to calm my nerves. And so someone's knocking on the door that's locked. So I walk over there thinking it's Eric. I get to the front door. I open them up. There's nobody there. Jen is behind me. Jennifer Streka. Who, she looking at me. I'm looking at her. I'm like, bro, nobody here. And she's like, yeah, nobody's here. Then the spirit box, which I brought with me in my hand, apparently I forgot because it was quiet now. As soon as I open up the door and I'm looking around, nobody here. Leave! And I'm like, fuck this, bro. Like, bro, we would pay $600 to investigate for 6 hours. We're not leaving this. And so I'm sitting down on the chair, kind of trying to catch my breath, kind of trying to relax, kind of trying to just... And then finally I turn to the lady. The lady is just watching me. She's like, she knows I'm freaking out. She knows I'm trying to control my fear. And she's like... She told me something that was kind of cool. I don't really watch TV shows very much, but I know Zach Bagans is popular and famous and stuff. And she's like, you know, Joe, the way you look right now is exactly the same way Zach Bagans looked. He had a lot of heavy stuff happen to him here that really kind of messed with him and changed him. And he sat down right where you're sitting, and he was trying to get his stuff together too. Right the same way you are. And I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool. I cannot be scared. You scared, you freak out, you lose. You know what I mean? So I asked her, I'm like, can I get Hawaiian salt, I get holy water. Do you mind if I bless the bar? Maybe it'll help out a little bit. She's like, yeah, you can do what you want to do. And so as I'm walking around the bar, it's all dark, right? It's lit up by the Monster sign, right? Monster energy drink. The M, the three scratch marks. And I remember reading an article, those scratch marks were actually Hebrew for 6. So the Monster Energy drink was 666. Let me show you guys what I'm talking about. 6 in Hebrew. And so everywhere I'm looking, it's just 666 everywhere. So this is 6 in Hebrew. This is the Monster logo. I know it's backwards on the video, sorry. And so yeah, I'm small kind freaking out because everywhere I'm looking is 666. And this is nothing new because that case I was working, I would leave my house in Kaneohe. I go drive down to the mall, pick up somebody. Mile half, okay? And I see 3 cars. I pass 3 cars. Their license plates are 666. I'm like, bro, what the hell's going on? So I'm seeing this everywhere, glowing in the bar. It's the only thing I'm seeing is 666. And I walk around and I bless the bar. And just to get the kind of holy water. I think I had tea leaf too. I think I brought tea leaf with me. Yeah, I did. I remember shaking the tea leaf. I'll unpack them with the salt, yeah. And after that, I started breathing easier. It started to I started to relax. It started to lift off of me, whatever it was. And oh man, I felt so much better. Um, my glasses were found in Jennifer's purse. Hey Mark, how's it? So Jennifer had this big purse, and the next morning we were all in the hotel, right? She came up to me. We were hanging out in the pool, the jacuzzi, you know, and she's like, Joe, look what I found. She found my glasses. I'm like, where did you find them? She's like, it was in the bottom of my purse, Joe. Did you put it there? I'm like, no. She's like, it was in one of the secret compartments that you had to zip. And I'm like, what? She's like, yeah, it was all the way on the bottom in the little zippered secret compartment. I felt something in it today, and I was like, what the hell is this? She's like, these are your glasses, right? I'm like, yeah. What the hell? That's the ones that went missing at Bobby Mackey's. I have no idea how it came over there and how that happened, but yeah. Bro, it was... I bought a little shot glass I still have at Bobby Mackey's, from Bobby Mackey's. I filled that bugger up with salt and holy water, and I would close them off and wrap them, and that's what I carried with me. I'm like, bro, I'm not bringing anything from Bobby Mackey's with me but this shot glass. You know, I'll go into this a little bit more. You guys are enjoying the stories, right? So I'll go into a little bit more. Afterwards, not really much happened in the Wisconsin forest. If you guys want to hear about it later, I'll tell you guys. It's about portals and time anomalies and that kind of stuff. We went to investigate, but we went over to Maine after, and that's kind of where it hit me. We had a rental house, via a VRBO, a vacation rental, in the middle of nowhere, in the city or in the place that Stephen King grew up. And I'll tell you, this is why Stephen King wrote the books he did, because that place is creepy. We're looking outside, get the mist rolling by, you know, the fog just rolling in. I'm like, bro, this place is nuts, bro. And they had crystals around the house, these big crystals at the front door, and I noticed they were positioned in a way that was meant to protect the house and ward off. And I'm like, bro, what the hell is over here that they need these crystals? I was not up to I wasn't up to date. I wasn't good. I was feeling kind of below the weather. I was like seeing shadows everywhere. Kind of like PTSD kind, yeah. And so my brother then they went to a bar to go grab some blueberry beer on one of the distilleries, to grab that little jug of beer, bring them back. And they was gone for a couple hours. Everybody else, all the females, they went to go look for the kind of antiques, yeah. They're like, bro, you go and ship antiques back to Hawaii from here? You know. But I'm in the house now all by myself, and I can feel things, and it just feels really bad, really creepy. It feels like there's this shadow over me. Man, I did not like it whatsoever. I kept calling people just because I was totally freaked out. I had all the lights in the house on by myself, and it was still... Bro, this place had one cellar, okay? The cellar one creeped me out. Everything would creep me out. There was a light right up there.
I'm looking at the phone.
Yeah, I saw that. I looked at you. I'm like, no, he's looking at the phone.
Just reading Keith's comment.
We went to my cousin's house where he was staying, and my cousin was getting married. He had this nice mansion, like 4 stories, and the weather was nice, like maybe lower 70s. So we went barbecue, right? September. I had a nice night, so we kind of barbecued and we ate outside and stuff. We're on the deck outside, right? I'm sitting down eating poo-poos, right? And Poo-poo's was lobster, yeah. It's Maine. We sitting down eating that, and I hear these girls singing, you know. Right above us, there's a window to the house. And I hear these girls, these young girls, sing beautiful voices. And I'm just eating, you know what I mean? It's just eating the poo-poos. And I turn to my cousin next to me and I'm like, oh, bro, who's that? Whoever that is, bro, they can sing, yeah? He looked at me, he's like, what you talking about, Joe? I'm like, bro, the girl. You know what? The girl singing. You hear him? Huh? He's like, Joe, I don't hear nothing. But I'm like, look at my brother. My brother's like, Joe, I don't hear anything. And my dad's looking at me. He's like, if Joe hears something, then it's real. There's something going on over here. I'm like, what the hell? And I'm hearing it this whole time I'm having this conversation. I'm hearing these little girls singing, like maybe 8, 9 years old, 10. There were 3 of them. I remember walking out of the car as we parked, and my dad's like, oh, this house kind of creepy. Yeah, I'm like, oh yeah, there's 3 girls here. They're about 8, 9, and 10 years old, you know, something like that. I'm like, anyway, I think so. I don't know how I know that, but. And then, I'm just like, whatever. Later on that night, we're eating dinner outside, and I hear little kids running through the house screaming, you know, like they're playing Tag Master, like, you know, like Tag Master, what is it called? Not Tag Master, but you know what I mean? They're playing tag or something. They're running through the house screaming. The thing is, doom, 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 the whole floor is shaking, you know, the whole house is shaking. Then it occurs to me, there's no children at this party. Nobody brought their little kids that age. There was one newborn. That was it. You know, my kids never even come. This is a wedding. There were no kids that age. And I'm like, bruh, can you guys at least feel the ground shaking and hear something running in the house? Oh, the ground's shaking, but I cannot hear anybody running. And my auntie's sitting next to me. She's like, oh, yeah, yeah. Remember, she eating steak, yeah? Oh, yeah, yeah. That's just the little girls. I'm like, the little girls? She's like, yeah. They're about 8, 9, and 10. There's 3 of them. I'm like, for real? She's like, yeah. Right over there. That's where I sleep. They're in my room. They sing. And they sing real good. And she points to the window I heard them from before. I'm like, bruh, I'm not going nuts. Thank you. My auntie, she could see too, yeah. I'm going to end with a completely unrelated story. But this is the story about how I grew up and why I do what I do. And it makes it not scary for me. And I brought up my auntie, so this was from my auntie then, her husband, or my Uncle Neil, who had just passed away, yeah, Kaipo's father. So he was there in spirit. In fact, we talked to him on the spirit box. It was really cool. The spirit, I get plenty of stories, as you can tell. I go outside, smoke cigarette, and sitting down and messing with my new toy, my spirit box. I turn them on. Through all the static, I can hear my Uncle Neil come true. And he talking a little bit. Yep. Then my sister comes up. It's just me and her outside. And she's like, oh, what are you doing, Joe? I'm like, I'm listening. Can you hear this? And she's listening, and she's like, hey, that's Uncle Neil. I'm like, yeah, for real, yeah, that is, yeah. She's like, yeah. And so Uncle Neil's like, hey, JP, how are you, Jen? You know, like that. I'm like, oh, this is mean, bro. You know, you can hear Uncle Neil talking after he passed away. And then my dad comes outside, and the connection kind of lessens a little bit. And he's like, what are you guys doing? I'm like, try to listen to this, Dad. That's his brother, yeah, Uncle Neil. He's listening to him, and I hear a voice. Hey, Ray, how are you? And he's like, that Neil. What the hell is that? Is that Neil? I'm like, Dad, this is a spirit box. You can talk to the spirits. He's like, oh. He's like, wow. He's like, Neil, how you doing? You know, and then my cousin comes out, the brother of the groom, and my brother comes out, and the whole connection was entirely lost. They were more skeptical, and it was like we couldn't hear anybody after that. But it was kind of cool. Anyways, what was I saying earlier? Oh yeah, Uncle Neil. Uncle Neil shared with me one of my first ghost stories that was shared with me. I was a little kid. He lived Mililani over in the townhouses by Mililani High School. I always love ghost stories. So I don't know how old I was, but I was young, and he was like, come up to me one night, hey Joe, hey, you read all those the kind ghost stories, huh? I'm like, yeah, I like them. He's like, they ever tell you how to get rid of one ghost? I'm like, yeah, why? He's like, because I think I get one ghost. And I'm like, okay. He's like, yeah. He's like, you know me. I work the kind I work night shift. I'm like, yeah. He's like, I come home. My kids all gone. My wife gone. They all at work. I go home. I jump in the shower. I go sleep. Sometimes I jump in the shower. I hear somebody knocking on the door, the bathroom door. I get out. I look. Nobody there. I hear somebody pounding on the bathroom door. Nobody there. Sometimes the toilet flush. I'm inside the shower, taking one shower. A toilet flush. All the cold water get taken out of the shower. Burn my alcohol inside the shower. I scream, He look at me. He's like, bro, how come this ghost? It's so much unfinished business. The bugger gotta flush my toilet. you know. He's like, so how you get rid of them? You're not scared of them. It's just the ghosts are one pain in the alcohol, yeah? Like Melody said a couple of days ago, yeah. Get ghosts everywhere. We just live with them. Or we just deal with them or something like that. I told Uncle, I'm like, Uncle, you gotta yell at the ghosts. So the ghosts before, they would just do all kind of kolohe things, yeah. You get the troublemaking ghosts. They would take the milk out of the fridge, put them in the cabinet. Take the ice cream, put them in the fridge, or put that in the cabinet. Just move things around all over, yeah. Not like boo, rattling chains, but they're just like moving stuff, just becoming a pain in the butt. Yeah, like, I made this guy get out the shower, I'll tell Uncle Neil, you gotta yell at him. You gotta yell at him. That's what the story's saying. You gotta yell at them, then they go away. What? You gotta yell at the ghost. I'm like, yeah, you gotta yell at him. You're the boss. He's like, neighbors go think I'm crazy. I'm like, hey, Uncle Neil. We pocket too, yeah, we Chinese. Uncle Neil, the ghost using your water. He's flushing your toilet. And you're not paying rent. Oh, that bugger. Oh, you're wasting my water. I gotta pay for that. Cheapskate, this guy. Oh, he gonna get the boot. A couple of days later, I talked to him again. He's like, oh, smiles. Hey, thanks, Joe, and work. I'm like, for real? He's like, yeah. The other day, I would jump in the shower. I think he said the toilet was flushing or the door was knocking. He's like, the ghost came over there. I would stop. I would turn around. I would yell at him. Hey, ghost. Huh? What's the matter with you, huh? Get the hell out of my house. Leave me alone. So help me God. So help me God. I'm going to kill myself. Come find where you live and then beat your cole, He tell me, he's like, bruh, then the neighbors, I heard one dish break in the neighbor's house. The ghost went to the neighbors. The ghost never bothered them again. I remember I would sleep over the house when I hear all these dishes falling down. We were right next to the kitchen, yeah? All these pots and pans and dishes. Loud noise in the kitchen, yeah? Oh, we turn on the lights, go look. Nothing fell down. I remember Corey had a friendly ghost in the shower where we lived with Paul. Bro, these ghosts, they kind of perverted, huh? We lived with Paul and squeezed his okole. He thought I did it, but I remember he locked the door. Look at the ghosts like squeeze okoles, bro. What's the matter with these ghosts? Oh, man. Sorry, I gotta read some of this. Yeah. I saw Zach Bagan's episode when he touched Annabelle. Since then, I've kind of stopped watching him. Not sure why, but it doesn't feel porno. Yeah, you're right. I don't really watch those shows. I prefer to be in the field, And if we're not going ghost hunting, we're just talking story, hanging out kind of thing, yeah. It's just a nice way to hang out and talk story. By the way, the REM pod is still on, and the thing has yet to go off. So now, speaking of looking around, speaking of, the dishes breaking in the neighbor's house. We go see if that tree actually fell down, yeah? Oh, brah, it's been almost 2 hours. You guys are crazy. Are you guys still watching me after 2 hours? So, earlier tonight, if you're new, the REM pod was going off and going off and going off. And then we heard Uilani type in the chat above you guys. And something was walking, like sliding from one side of the tent to the other. and making noise like something was walking on top of this tent. As Uilani said, there's something above you. And then there was a tree here that simply dropped. I mean, this tree did not crash. It didn't fall down. It dropped straight down. Bro, these vines are not friendly. Oh, sorry. Nah, that's been down for a while. That's been down for a while. You go stay over there, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. I've never been in here before, by the way. First time. Unless, yeah, no. These trees are still up. I didn't, I was planning a whole night for Bobby Mackey's. But I'm glad I did them tonight. Maybe it was those trees? I don't know. I gotta go ahead and clip that. I gotta go watch the video again, clip that, because you guys can hear the tree falling, yeah? As the REM pod kept going off, I think, yeah, that's so cool, bro. I think the REM pod was telling us to be careful and to leave. And when we was too stupid to listen to it, the ghost had to make the tree drop straight down instead of falling on top of us. And then we said, look up. And then the tree went fall. You know what I mean? I'm like, brah. Oop. Woo.
As he was walking in, something flashed to the left.
Oh, you saw another flash.
Yeah.
Get flashes coming from down the trail over here.
Right where the log is down.
Yeah.
Right next to the tree, actually.
Over here?
Yeah.
What is
There's
that?
a tree right in front of us. Yeah, you saw me right here. Right where you are. What about the other flash?
Looked like somebody would leave one little offering over here. Lemon or something, huh? And some bougainvillea? Maybe I'm overthinking it, but maybe not.
Nothing fresh down there, huh?
Yeah.
It fell.
Nope. If it was all the way down. But it didn't sound that far away.
Right.
It sounded like it was like right
on
over here. Yeah.
The farthest is the next platform, but yeah, it sounded like it was right over here.
It sounded like it was on this level.
Mm-hmm.
Not one level down. See, look how brave I am. The car right over you.
Probably should have went in that way though too.
Yeah.
Instead of climbing over the...
So, real fast, I'll go share one story. I just remembered it. I gotta do it as I remember it. Otherwise, I'm gonna forget to share it, yeah. This one is Brother Shaka's story. Shaka was Shaka's a guy, he was a homeless guy that lived here in the woods. When we would do our lives, especially last year, brother would come by, hang out, cruise, play guitar. He liked to have the company and the ghost stories and stuff. And he shared a few stories. Somewhere around here, there is a cave, like a tunnel, and he lives there, in the tunnel. It's close to here. I'm not going to really point because I don't like people to go find them out, But it's a full-on concrete tunnel. Looks like it was a water drainage ditch before, but then it was blocked off. And that's where he lived. He said a few things would happen. One time, he's sleeping in the little tunnel, and right at the entrance to the tunnel, he sees a silhouette of a big Hawaiian warrior. The big Hawaiian warrior is gesturing, telling him to get out, telling him to leave. And Shaka, he Hawaiian, huh? He tell him, no, I'm not gonna leave. I'm Hawaiian. It's my land too. I have the right to be here. You're one big Hawaiian warrior telling him to leave, and he's arguing with the big Hawaiian warrior, right? He's like, no, I get the right to be here. So the warrior just looked at him and left. Within a day, a tree fell on the sewer tunnel, the old sewer tunnel. A tree fell down right where the warrior was standing, over the tunnel, and blocking the tunnel, right? Kind of blocking the tunnel, more or less hiding the tunnel. And Shaka was like, I think he was protecting me. I think that he blocked the tunnel so that he keep me safe, because now I have like a door. Yeah. So once again, he get a warning. You heard that too. Yeah, he get a warning from the spirits, and he don't listen, and they're like, this guy, I gotta protect him anyway, you know. He said that over here. He's like, yeah, you hear talking plenty over here. You hear women, you hear men talking in Hawaiian, or it sounds like Hawaiian, but you can never hear the words they're saying. You just hear their voices down here in the middle of the night, right? Which we've heard a lot. He's like, but the one I don't like is the one that screams, and the one that has the little raspy, wispy voice. I think he said that. The one with the real creepy voice, and the girl that screams over here at nighttime. Bro, I wish I had recorded that earlier this month. As I was walking down over there to do the whole okupu by myself, I get out the car and I hear one scream right off the get-go. That was something, all right, man. But yeah, we get guardians and stuff, so I figure, what's the point of having guardians if you're not gonna, you know what I mean? If the guardians tell you leave, then you leave. But if the girl that's screaming is telling you leave, nah, she's just trying to scare you. Anyway, it's almost 10 o'clock. I will be back here tomorrow night, 8 o'clock p.m. Same time, same place. Every night this month we do a live. If you guys are new and you guys are enjoying the lives, bro, I get over 30 hours of stories just this month on YouTube and Facebook. Go check the channel, click the live button. I get Night Marchers, come up, I get all these stories. If you really like the ghost stories, right? If you guys are, I know I don't like to do this very much, but I've been told by everybody, you need to say it. So if you guys on the YouTube side like this, like, subscribe, follow, whatever, you know what I mean? It helps with the algorithm and stuff. We're getting plenty of people tonight, man. It's so amazing to be able to reach so many people with all of these stories. Tomorrow night, I think I'm going to talk about my cases. Yeah, some of the scarier ones that involved really bad things. I have recordings and stuff too that depending how the night goes, I may or may not play, but it's up to you guys too. Yeah. So yeah. Anyway, guys, I'm sorry I couldn't read all of the comments. If you guys had a comment that you really wanted me to get to, please message it to me. Yeah. Or respond in one of the chats or something, and say, hey, I get one question. Yeah. I notice when I'm focusing too much on the chat, you guys come here to hear ghost stories, So yeah. Anyway, you guys have a fantastic evening. I will see you guys later. Take care and aloha. Talk for 2 hours straight.